So it's the night before the trip and I'm in my room trying to pack. Not taking cat toys with me. Wow, my room looks really good in this light. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to take with me to Barcelona, as it's a good deal warmer there than Germany. And yeah, we'll see when all my bags are finished how many bags I'll be traveling with. So in the end, I end up having 3 main bags. This black one is the camera bag, courtesy of the IT department at my university, who lent me this awesome camera and also microphones and a stabilizer and all this stuff. And then 1 bag of mainly clothes, and then another suitcase of clothes and shoes. It's for 2 weeks, so I feel like I need more stuff. And then I will also have my small backpack, which is like full of snacks and stuff for the train ride, and then my fanny pack for all of my valuables and stuff I want to keep super close. So we're gonna see how this goes with 4 bags. I hate carrying a lot of bags, but I need all of my stuff. And let's see what happens when I get on the train later. So, hi, I hope I'm doing this right. I probably don't need to hold the mic directly up to my face. I just arrived in Paris after a very long train journey. I'm at Gare de Lyon. And I didn't get to take too much footage of myself on the train because it felt so totally awkward to film when you're like in the aisle seat and you would have to like reach over someone to film out the window or do stuff like that. But yeah, it was a long train journey. I started out this morning in Eberswalde, Germany. I waited for 5 hours at the Berlin Hauptbahnhof because I wouldn't be able to get a later bus or early enough bus out of Eberswalde to Berlin. And waiting in the Hauptbahnhof in like the dead hour of like 2 a.m. or midnight to 4 a.m. is quite an experience, let me tell you. So yeah, and then after that, I took the train to Mannheim, and our train was late, so I was really worried I was going to miss my connection to Paris because I only had 13 minutes to change, so that's something for the future, to never book a train with less than like a 30-minute time to switch. And yeah, I'm very, very tired. I haven't slept in a while, but I'm mostly feeling really good. It feels good to be like out on the road, taking all these trains. Like the passes are really great. At first I was worried like it wasn't going to work for some reason. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. In my last leg from Mannheim to Paris, there was a very small screaming child most of the way, and it made it hard to sleep, but I'm hoping to get some rest on the Paris to Barcelona leg, and I'll be staying tonight at a friend's house to help save some money and then also to reconnect with a friend and eat some good food. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, right now it feels good to be back in Paris. I haven't been here in 4 years, I want to say, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, I'm feeling like very emotional actually, and like a lot of emotions and memories coming back up. But it feels really positive, and I'm excited to stop back here for 2 nights on my way back from Barcelona in 2 weeks. So that's it for right now, and I'll see you on the next leg of the journey.
My name is Aina, and I come from Catalonia, and I'm 26 years old.
Okay.
Will you be holding it like this?
Is it too intense?
It is intense. Creo que ser europea es una cosa un poco difusa. No es muy claro lo que significa para mí ser europea. Creo que significa formar parte de algo un poco privilegiado, este privilegio de poder viajar con libertad dentro de la Unión Europea, pero también del privilegio de ser europea delante del resto del mundo, donde es fácil conseguir un visado como europeo para entrar en otros continentes y en otras regiones del mundo, y es fácil conseguir becas para whatever, para lo que sea, en África o en otros países.
Sí. ¿Y para ti, por qué tú eres Cataluña? Entonces,
soy catalana.
Catalana. Disculpe. Ya. ¿Qué significa eso dentro de europea?
Ser catalana es mucho más que ser europea. O sea, ser europea no significa realmente, no hay una conexión directa con Europa, pero ser catalana, formar parte de la cultura catalana, es mucho más, es lo que soy, es con lo que me identifico, es la cultura que he vivido, la lengua que he hablado, las tradiciones que conozco. Es una sensación de pertenencia de lugar. Y aunque he vivido en Alemania, por ejemplo, 3 años, y aunque mi madre sea alemana, no me siento alemana, me siento catalana. Porque es donde he crecido.
Yeah.
Es donde tengo más conexión y es lo que llevo conmigo. El deseo y la ambición es ser catalán sin ser español. Ser catalán sin estar dentro de España. Este es un sentimiento mucho más puro, mucho más con mucha más paz. No hay esta contradicción. Y a la vez no es Cataluña contra España.
Son los dos.
Creo
Cataluña
que...
y...
Exacto.
Yeah.
Cataluña se vive, lo vivimos como una nación oprimida dentro de España. Y aunque España diga que acepta la diversidad de naciones dentro del país, hay un sentimiento de nación oprimida por razones históricas, pero también por razones actuales, como por ejemplo el hecho de querer imponer la lengua castellana en las escuelas, donde toda la vida hemos hablado y hemos aprendido en catalán.
Yeah.
After leaving my friend, I made my way to Santiago de Compostela. For me, there was something so spiritual about this city on top of a hill, apart from the obvious connection to Christianity. I couldn't stop taking footage of the clouds and... Today I came by bus to Fistera, which at one point Europeans thought was the end of the world. I came here by bus from Santiago de Compostela, and I've been in Santiago for 2 days now. And I've just come to Fistera for a few hours to be by the sea and get some sun. It's warmer here than it is in Santiago. And yeah, I wanted to see what was once thought of as the end of the world. When I started this project, I thought I was going to go speak to people from other communities about their perceptions of belonging in Europe. And it's been really interesting for me coming to Spain for my first time because I didn't know about Catalonia or Galicia, or that there were different languages spoken here. And I think it's not so much people who are trying to belong to Europe, but Europe as a concept that is trying to find a sense of belonging and impose a sense of its own order in the world. And it wasn't really what I was looking for, but I'm glad that I found it. I think I am one of the increasing number of people who come from this diaspora and re-diasporic flow of having European citizenship and living in Europe, but maybe having grown up in other places and speaking 3 and 4 languages and having a sense of, I remember what one Egyptian and Dutch guy I met in Paris told me means that you belong nowhere, but you can also belong everywhere at once. There's a really good book called The Granary of Rome that I was assigned over a year ago on an exchange program to read, and it talked about this concept of when Europeans left Europe to colonize, they would see the desert, they would see these other ecosystems or things that didn't quite match their frame of reference, and they would assume that it was broken, that the people there had like spoiled it or wasted the resources, and then they would try to remake it in their own image. I really wonder and also worry a lot, even though this is just a small video for a video project, about the power of images and the way we tell stories and show people and landscapes themselves. It's just me and the landscape and the animals and the sounds. Then I feel like I belong because I forget that I'm human. And maybe for me, being human is a condition of not belonging and trying to make belonging and make meaning. And some of the really positive ways we do that are through art and music and dance and even sport, you could say. But other not so positive ways are passport controls and borders and things that are big problems for lots of people, but not me, because I have 2 very strong passports, and this program was only open to people from Europe. When you have that passport, you can move throughout all of these different countries by train, and it's controlling me. No one is flagging me because I have a German passport, because I have a German last name. And some of that also has to do with the fact that I can speak Spanish and French, so moving out from Germany through France and then Spain, and even here in Galicia, where it's its own language, but similar enough to Spanish that I can get by. It really makes things easier. Even though I'm European, I still feel the kind of fear you feel as a black person traveling alone in a place that is not full of other black people. Sense of being an outsider walking through some of these small towns, even though many of them are used to seeing outsiders on the Camino de Santiago. Because I think the nature of how Europe has constructed itself is anti-black. And that hurts in a sense, because you'll always be visible in a way that other people can't understand. I mean, for me, even the conditions of this project, you could go anywhere in Europe, but it's not, it's a real question of safety for black people. To be able to go to Eastern Europe, for example. It's a question, actually, it's not really a question, it's a condition of not being safe to go to Eastern Europe. Your options are limited in some respects. I've traveled alone for a really long time, and I've lived a lot of things that have made me relatively gregarious in moving alone through the world. But even I know that there are limits to how well you can take care of yourself, and you can have the right passport, but it doesn't mean that you'll be safe. Just because you can get across the border doesn't mean that you will be welcomed. I think one of the things that's really interesting for me is how much warmer, and I don't mean in a weather way, I mean in a emotional, cultural, spiritual way, Spain seems to be, and even parts of France, than northern Germany. Tide's coming in. I see people, I don't know, it's not even so much friendlier, it's just a really different culture of treating travelers and being welcoming and opening, and yeah, it's really, really nice, and it's been a really beautiful way to see a new country. Something really beautiful about traveling is that you have to learn new things while you're there, and that things won't always be easy. And I'm speaking about traveling for leisure. I'm not speaking about migration or being a refugee or having to move to a place for security reasons or other things like that, or people who are fleeing violence. I think for young people like myself, who this project really seems to be aimed at, traveling out through Europe through trains. Yeah, I think if anything, it should be something that really sharpens you. Not necessarily a process of luxury. And I would have never been able to afford a trip like this at this time in my life without getting this grant, because the pass costs 500 euros. And I've already spent quite a bit on hostels and train seat reservations as well. So if you were a young person, it doesn't even count food. A lot of this trip has been powered by instant ramen noodles and coffee, and then some very nice free things. But even to do this project, I mean, you would have to have 500 euros of disposable income just for lodging and seat reservations and feeding yourself relatively scarcely. So yeah, it's really too bad, because I love train travel, and I hate flying, and trains are more climate friendly apparently, or whatever, and it's too expensive. So I'm really happy that I got this grant. Really, really happy. There just would have been no way to do it otherwise without getting the pass. Came by train from Berlin to Mannheim, from Mannheim to Paris and from Paris to Barcelona. Stayed in Barcelona, north of Barcelona, with a friend for 2 days. And then went from Barcelona to Santiago by BlaBlaCar because I wanted to take a break from the train, and I also really wanted to be able to see parts of the Camino de Santiago, which I don't think you can see from the train. And today I took a bus to Fistera, and I'll take a bus back, which is about a 3-hour ride in a little bit. After I wrap up this part, I'm going to go eat some mejillones, which I love and I'm really excited about, at a little restaurant that's over there in the sun. Maybe watch the sunset. And then I'll take the bus back. And then on Wednesday, I will take the train from Santiago back to Barcelona with a quick changeover in Madrid. And then stay in Barcelona for a few days and go to Paris for 2 nights and then finally head back to Berlin. So yeah, it's kind of a loop that I'm following. I really feel for how unjust it is that we live in this like class system. And of course there's like the more obvious class system, but like a class system based on what kind of like ID card you have. It's very strange and like dystopic. So I'm really grateful to be on this trip, but I'm also very humbled by the luxury of it to be able to do this.
Je m'appelle Sadou.
Un peu plus haut.
Ok, je m'appelle Sadou, j'ai 30 ans, je suis d'origine guinéenne mais de nationalité française et j'ai toujours grandi à Paris, en France.
Et qu'est-ce que ça veut dire à toi d'être européen ou être inclus en Europe?
Ok, c'est drôle que tu me poses cette question parce que je m'étais jamais posé la question. Réellement, parce que c'est vrai que c'est une communauté d'intérêt pour moi. Je le vois plus comme un ensemble de pays qui se sont réunis pour défendre leurs propres intérêts. Personnellement, moi, je sais pas vraiment ce que ça signifierait pour moi. Peut-être que mes droits seraient plus protégés, mais en tant que noire, j'ai déjà, femme noire vivant en France, j'ai déjà réglé mon problème d'identité en tant que française, avant d'aborder celle en tant qu'européenne. Donc c'est un premier palier à passer, donc cette question je me la suis jamais posée. Donc ça voudrait dire que je suis afropéenne, j'ai entendu parler de ce terme. Mais voilà, quand je vois la situation entre comment on traite les Ukrainiens et puis les migrants d'Afrique, je vois qu'il y a quand même un énorme gap et je suis pas forcément d'accord et je trouve qu'il y a des injustices. Donc moi je me considère avant tout comme citoyenne du monde et cette question pour moi elle n'est même pas légitime dans mon cas de me la poser, pour être honnête. Voilà.
Et est-ce que tu peux me dire un peu plus sur ce terme afropéen?
Bah, afropéen, c'est être africain et européen, donc appartenir à la communauté européenne et puis aussi être africain. Donc c'est un peu être une extension d'être par exemple africaine, franco-africaine. C'est juste que la communauté est beaucoup plus large, mais comme je le disais dans la précédente vidéo, c'est un thème qui, pour moi, on est afropéen si déjà on a réglé sa première identité dans le pays duquel on est issu. Donc moi je suis d'origine guinéenne, aussi française parce que j'ai grandi ici, donc j'ai acquis la nationalité française. Mais on me dit que je suis aussi européenne, je veux bien le croire. Mais concrètement, ça se matérialise comment d'être afropéenne? Moi, je vous pose la question du coup.
Il y a une culture dedans, une culture.
Une culture.
C'est comme pour moi, je suis aussi américaine, je suis aussi afro-américaine, comme je suis européenne, mais je suis aussi afro-européenne. Donc, moi, j'ai une culture séparée, et donc les cultures de la majorité.
Mais moi, je dissocie pas, c'est vrai, je me suis jamais réellement posé la question parce que pour moi, être européen, c'est juste, j'ai des droits en plus, donc je peux voyager facilement, ça m'est facilité.
Oui, moi aussi.
Je sais qu'il y a Erasmus pour les étudiants, donc voilà. Je sais que voilà, il y a une proximité avec les pays de l'Europe, mais sinon en termes de culture, ouais, on a des similitudes forcément, mais je me définis pas vraiment enfin forcément je suis européenne, mais c'est pas quelque chose que je vais scander. C'est pas une identité à laquelle je suis réellement attachée. Voilà, je sais pas, je me considère citoyenne. Parce que pour moi, voilà, l'Europe, c'est juste la construction, enfin, c'est un groupement de pays pour défendre des intérêts communs.
Ah oui.
Oui, c'est ça, pour faciliter les échanges, etc. Mais moi, étant issue d'un pays extérieur, extra-européen, quand je vois le racisme, pour dire le vrai nom, le néocolonialisme, être européen pour moi, ça n'a pas de sens. Je sais pas si tu vas pas couper ça, sinon je vais me faire clasher.
Non, ça, je crois que ça c'est le climax de mon projet.
Mais oui. Regardez l'Angleterre, la Grande-Bretagne, elle a dit non.
Oui.
Parce qu'elle a calculé ses avantages et ses inconvénients. Elle s'est dit que économiquement, elle préfère être indépendante.
Ouais.
Donc en fait, c'est juste, il peut pas y avoir réellement, chaque pays autonome et a sa propre culture. Je pense pas qu'on puisse construire comme ça une pseudo-identité européenne. C'est juste pour protéger des intérêts communs. Comme l'Europe, c'est...
Mais ici, c'est chez moi.
L'Europe?
Oui.
Moi, je suis partout et nulle part à la fois. L'Europe, oui. Enfin, je sais pas.